Good morning. This is Dhanasri, Assistant Professor of Biochemistry, KVR Government Degree College for Women. Today we are going to discuss about the topic enzymes. Enzymes are the biocatalysts and these are the substances produced in living organisms. And these enzymes are very much essential for the biochemical reactions. And all these enzymes are proteins in nature except some enzymes which are made up of RNA. And these enzymes which are chemically proteins in nature and they do not involve any chemical reactions, but they act as catalyst for all biochemical reactions. And enzymes do not alter any equilibrium constants of the reaction, that is there is no change in the free energy of the reactions as the enzymes are not taking part chemically in the reactions. And enzymes are biochemically active only in certain temperatures and certain pH where they show their maximum activities. If the temperatures and pH are increased beyond the certain levels of temperatures, the enzymes get denatured. Why? Because all the enzymes are made up of proteins. And these enzymes exhibits their biological activities in the living organisms. And these enzymes can be isolated from the cells, and these enzymes biological activity can be measured by isolating the enzymes. And these enzymes were first identified by the scientist Kirchhoff in the year 1815, whereas the term enzyme was first given by the scientist Kuhne. And the scientist Edward Buchner isolated these enzymes for the first time, which are responsible for the fermentations, and that's why these enzymes are also known as fermenters in the beginning. And another scientist, J.B. Sumner, crystallized the enzyme urease for the first time from the seeds of jack bean. That means the enzyme which was first isolated is urease enzyme from the jack bean seeds. And the protein nature of the enzyme was first discovered by J.B. Sumner, and the crystallized urease from jack beans. And for this work he got Nobel Prize for the crystallization of this urease enzyme. And Northrop scientists crystallized the pepsin and trypsin from the gastric juices and pancreatic juices. And later on so many other enzymes have been crystallized. And most probably the important one is the term of the enzyme was coined by Kuhne in the year 1878. And the name enzyme literally means for in yeast. Why? Because they were identified during the fermentation in the yeast cells. And because of most recognizable reaction popularly known as alcohol fermentation by James enzyme in the yeast. That's why they are also known as the fermenters. And all these enzymes are proteins in nature, as I said, and most probably they are globular proteins. And these enzymes speed up the reactions. They are acting as the catalyst for biochemical reactions. That means they are the biocatalyst. Enzymes are also known as the biocatalyst. As I said, enzymes do not start the chemical reaction, but they enhance the velocity of the reaction, means they speed up the reaction. In the absence of the enzyme also the reactions will be going to be taking place, but in a very slow manner. For this one example we can see here, in the absence of an enzyme the protein digestion may take around 40 hours of time, but in the presence of the enzyme the same protein digestion will be completed within minutes. So this clearly shows that the enzymes role in the biochemical reactions. So the enzymes speed up the reactions by acting as biocatalyst, and they do not involve chemically in the reaction. They speed up the reaction. And how they are going to speed up the reaction means the enzyme speed up the reaction by decreasing the activation energy. So what is activation energy? Whenever a substrate under in a reaction, in order to convert into a product, the substrate should undergo some transition state, and they energized by taking certain amount of energy. That energy is called as the activation energy. Unless until substrate is activated by this activation energy, it cannot be able to convert it into a product. So in this picture you can see that the reactants, by taking certain amount of activation energy, that is in the red line showing, without enzyme they are converting into products. So the rate of the reaction is very much high, the time taking for this reaction is very much high without the enzyme. Why? Because very high amount of energy is required without the presence of enzyme. Whereas the same reaction in the presence of enzyme, in blue line you can take very less amount of activation energy is enough to complete the reaction. So what enzymes are doing? They are lowering the activation energy. So by lowering the activation energy, by accelerating the biochemical reaction, by reducing its activation energy, the enzymes are speed up the reaction. So what is activation energy? It is the amount of energy required by the substrates to convert into products. So by taking activation energy, the substrates enter into a transition state. What is transition state? It is a state where the reactants club together, react to each other and forms a highly unstable complex, and then that complex will be converted into finally products. So a reaction means the substrate should be converted into products. So unless until the substrates enter into transition state, they cannot be converted into products. So to enter into this transition state, the substrates require activation energy. In the absence of enzymes, the activation energy is very much high, so that to procure that activation energy, the reaction takes long time. Whereas the presence of enzyme lowers this activation energy. With a little amount of energy, the enzymes capable to convert the substrates into transition state and thereby to the products. So what I mean to say, in the presence of enzymes, the activation energy is lowered for the substrates, so that with the minimum amount of energy, the substrates can be converted into products. And all these enzymes are, as I said, globular in structure, globular proteins. And these proteins, these enzymes, they possess small cavities like structures where on their surface where the exact substrates are binding. So the substrates, to complete the reactions, the substrate should go and bind to the products, and that binding site of these enzymes is known as the active site. In this picture we can see the lowering of reactions activation energy. In the above picture, as the activation energy without the enzyme, there is very much time taking reaction, so that without the enzyme the reaction is going to be taking place very long time. The net energy is released is very much high for the completion of the first reaction, whereas with the presence of the enzyme, the same reaction is going to be taking place with very minimal amount of activation energy. This is the best example how the enzymes are lowering the activation energy. Active site of the enzyme. So what I said, active site? Active site is the site of enzyme where the exact substrate go and binds to the enzyme. So the active site is an area of the enzyme that binds to the substrate, and this structure has a unique shape so that it can accommodate to the substrate, and these enzymes are very much specific to the substrates. So all the substrate cannot able to bind to all the enzymes, only particular enzymes can able to bind a particular substrate. There is a specificity between binding of the enzyme to with substrate. So to explain this specificity to how the substrates are going to bind to this enzyme, there are two models have been proposed. They are lock and key model and induced fit model. So what lock and key model says that each substrate is unique in its structure with that of the active site. So a unique substrate like key can able to bind to a unique enzyme just like lock. So in this lock and key model, an enzyme binds to a substrate in a region called the active site. Only certain substrates can fit into that active sites, and this is the lock and key model. One key for one enzyme. Whereas in induced fit model, the enzyme active site structure is flexible, whereas in lock and key model the structure of the active site is rigid. There is no change in the active site structures, but here it is not rigid. The active site is somewhat flexible in nature, so the enzyme active sites adjust, it can able to adjust its shape whenever the substrate is binding to this active sites according to the substrate structure. So this increases the range of the substrate specificity. The shape changes also improves the catalysis during this reaction. So in lock and key model, the shape of the active site is rigid, that is constant. There will be no change in the active site. Only particular substrate can able to bind to this active site. Whereas in induced fit model, the active site is not rigid, and it can able to flexible, and it can able to change its shape according to the binding of the substrate. These are the two models, lock and key model and induced fit model, which explains the binding of the substrate to the active site. Whenever enzyme binds to the substrates at the active sites, it results in the formation of a enzyme substrate complex. So here you are seeing the substrate green colored one binding to the active site of the enzyme, and so that the enzyme substrate complex is forming, and then these certain changes will be going to be taking place inside the active site, and that is known as the catalysis. Enzyme changes shape slightly as substrate binding, and then after a certain time the enzyme substrate complex will be converted into enzyme product complex, and then once the substrate is converted into product, the enzyme releases the products. So enzyme binding to the substrates forms the enzyme substrate complex, then enzyme substrate complex ES to EP means enzyme product complex, they finally releasing the product. So in the beginning substrates are coming and binding, at the end the substrates are converted into products, and the products are released. This is a simple mechanism of the enzyme action on the substrates. So this is the way the enzymes works. So the site of the enzyme where the substrate binds is known as the active site, and the substrates bind to the active site and thereby forming enzyme substrate complex, and then enzyme substrate complex to enzyme product complex after the finishing of the chemical reaction, and then the enzyme substrate complex is converted into enzyme product complex, and finally the products are released from these enzymes. So here enzymes are not at all in changing any chemical equilibrium, or they are not at all involving chemically in the reactions. So this is the about the working procedure of these enzymes. So the enzymes catalyze the chemical reactions that do not normally proceed under the normal conditions. As I said, enzymes are acting as the biocatalysts, but like catalysts, the enzymes do not alter the chemical equilibrium point of reversible reactions, but only the speed of the reaction is changed by the presence of the enzyme. So this is very important. Like physical catalyst, that is another catalyst, chemical catalyst, the enzymes, these are the biocatalysts which not at all involving in the reactions as chemically, they do not change the chemical equilibrium, just the speed of the reactions. And they also differs from the catalyst in being the biological products, that is these are produced from the living cells, and the enzymes are all proteins unlike the catalyst. So catalysts are some chemicals, but here the enzymes are the biocatalysts. These are made up of proteins, and they cannot last indefinitely in a reaction system, since they being colloidal in nature, and often they may be damaged or inactivated during the reaction of the catalysis. And unlike a catalyst, most individual enzymes are very specific in its that they can act only on a single substrates, on some structurally related substrates only. These are the some differences between the general catalyst and biocatalysts. And let's see the nomenclature of these enzymes. So enzymes are generally named according to the reactions that they catalyzed, or bio suffixing ase after the name of the substrates. So all the enzymes, most of the enzymes are ending with ase in their names based upon the reaction they catalyzed. And the International Union of Biochemistry and Molecular Biology developed a nomenclature for these enzymes, and each enzyme has been given an EC number for their denoting purpose. So what is EC number? EC number denotes enzyme commission. So EC stands for enzyme commission, and the number of the enzyme is called as the EC number. So each enzyme will be having an EC number, which is a 4-digit number. So when the enzyme is classified, each enzyme is assigned the EC number in the form of 4 digits, and the first digit will be having some unique name, and depending upon the classification under which category it comes, the number will be given, and this classification will be studied in the next class. So all the enzymes, they end with ase in general, and most of the enzymes are ending with ase only, except certain enzymes like pepsin, trypsin. These enzymes do not end with ase. Rest of the enzymes in general, their names ends with ase only. So all the enzymes names possess a suffix ase. The name of each enzyme ends with ase only, like example urease, carboxylase, kinases, lactases, maltases. Ase, not ose. Ose for sugars, but ase for enzymes. And these enzymes are usually named according to their substrates on which they are going to be active. So for example, the enzyme which is acting on urea, it may be known as the urease. Like that, based upon the substrates, the enzymes can be given names. And enzymes are also named according to the type of the reaction. For example, oxidases, reductases, polymerases. So oxidases catalyze the oxidation reactions. Reductases catalyzes the reduction reaction. Polymerases are involving the polymerization reactions. So there are different types of nomenclatures for these enzymes, and based upon the substrates, based upon the type of reactions, and they are also named according to the source from which they are extracted. So like these different types of naming will be there for these enzymes. But the International Union of Biochemists, they assign each enzyme for a EC number. So what is the IUB? IUB is the International Union of Biochemists, and according to IUB, the name of the enzyme ends with ase, and the name of the enzyme should contain the name of the substrates and the type of the reaction that catalyzed, and finally ends with ase. So for example, glutamate dehydrogenase. So glutamate dehydrogenase, what IUB saying? The each enzyme name should having the substrate, the type of the reaction, and ending with ase. So glutamate dehydrogenase is having the substrate glutamate, and the type of reaction is dehydrogenase, and finally ending with the ase. But some proteolytic enzymes are exceptional from this nomenclature because of the familiarity of those enzymes with that names only. They are ending with N. You all well known about these enzymes: pepsin, trypsin, chymotrypsin. They are familiar with that names only. So according to the IUB, all the enzymes are classified into 6 major classes, and that can be studied in the classification. So this is all about the introduction to the enzymes and the nomenclature of the enzymes, and what is active site, and what is activation energy, and what is lock and key model, induced fit model. All we have studied in this class. From the next class we'll continue the enzyme classification.